famous philosopher and astronomer Claudius Ptolemy dated that the planets as well as the sun and the moon moved in circular motion around the earth. The sun and moon revolution explained the existence of day and night. He believed that the earth was the center concept known as geocentrism. As well as Aristotle, who is sometimes called the grandfather of science, studied under the great philosopher Plato, and later started his own school, the Lyceum in Athens. He too believed on geocentric universe and that the planet and the stars were perfect spheres. The earth itself was not. He further taught that the movement of the planets and stars must be circular, since they were perfect, and if the motions were circular, then they could go on forever. Everyone believed the earth is the center of the universe. This view of universe compares so much was survived virtually challenged 1,000 years. Until Nicolaus Copernicus came up with a radical way of looking at the universe. He didn't believe on geocentric model. He believed on heliocentric system, in which the sun, Helio, is at the center of our system. Earlier, star watchers had believed the same, but it was Copernicus who brought it to the world of Renaissance and used his own observation on the movement of the planets to back up his idea. His ideas, including the revelation that the Earth rotates on its axis, were too different for most of the scholars of his time to accept. They used only parts of his theory. Those who did study his work intact often did so in secret. They called Copernicans. 100 years after Copernicus, Galileo came up a brilliant student with an amazing genius for intention and observation. He had his own ideas on how motion really worked, as opposed to what Aristotle had taught, and derived a telescope that could enlarge objects up to 20 times. He was able to use this telescope to prove the truth of the Copernican system of heliocentrism. He published his observations, which went against the established teaching of the Church. He was brought to trial, and although he made his confession of wrongdoing, he was still kept under house arrest for the rest of his life. But it was too late to look away the knowledge that Galileo shared. What is Copernican Revolution? A Copernican revolution is essentially the change in accepted model in our solar system from geocentric model, or the Earth at the center, to heliocentric model, where the sun at the center. So during his lecture in Rome, it was radically theory. We'd have occasion comments, but there was not. So it was likely he adopted his theory after 1500. Further, Corvinus, who helped print his Latin translation in 1508 to 1509, expressed admiration his knowledge of astronomy, so that Copernicus' concept may have been traditional at this point. His first heliocentric writing was Commentariulus. It was a small manuscript that was circulated but never printed. We don't know when he wrote this, but a professor in Krakow cataloged his book in 1514 and made his references on this manuscript of 6 Leo's expanding theory of an author who asserts there moves while the sun stands still. The publication of Revolutionibus Orbium Coelitium on the revolution of heavenly spheres. The manuscript he made was not published immediately because it may cause huge dear, so it was published after his death in 1542. Here are some people proof that heliocentric model were by Copernicus. Tycho Brahe, he measured the distance of the stars and made the geoheliocentric model, compute of the solar system. Isaac Newton, he formulated the law of gravitation and discovered the law of motion. Johannes Kepler used the calculus to form laws and formulas that also made the heliocentric model factual. It was not easy to prove heliocentric theories since the Church was against its concept, but evidence is provided by the use of mathematics and technology. The heliocentric model is actually the true model of the solar system. The whole Copernican Revolution was a way to seek out the truth. Its contribution to science, especially astronomy, is revolutionary. If not for it, we may still think that the Earth is at the center. The effort and knowledge of the people behind it must be appreciated and acknowledged, for without them, the truth about the nature and environment we live will not be known. In fact, that we are aware in what world and universe we are in is something to be grateful enough.